everyone, I am Silver. It is Monday, December 3rd. I just want to say a quick hello to any new viewers and an awesome welcome back must go out to all returning viewers. If you tuned in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. So, how have you all been? Honestly, I've been pretty good. I do have lots to talk to you about, including a new-ish segment, so I should probably get started, right? So go ahead and grab your drink of choice, your knitting or crafting, and away we go. So today I'm actually going to just be drinking a glass of seltzer water, mostly because anything else that I have in the house right now will stain my bridge in the tea. Sorry to say, in case you wanted to know. So let me take a drink and then we'll get started. So the first awesome thing that I want to talk about is Thanksgiving. You know, American Thanksgiving, because duh. But anyway, my family got together and we had a nice dinner and we had a lot of fun actually playing games and stuff like that afterward. And then my family also does have this tradition, which we call Pie Day. It happens on Black Friday where we get together, have a bunch of pie, play some video games, yada, yada, yada. Again, awesome. Had so much fun. Another thing that also happened relatively recently was actually the first snowfall of the year, which is pretty cool. All the snow has already melted, so duh. um, let's see. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is what I'm just simply going to call Mario antics. He has been a pretty busy boy. He had his yearly doctor's appointment, which is pretty cool. We do have to put in airdrops in his ears now for the next 10 days, twice a day, which he's not happy with mommy about because, I have to go ahead and be the hard ass and do it. But that's okay. He'll get over it eventually, but he does tend to try to escape a lot. And it kind of makes it funny. I should probably video it at one point so that way you can see it. But anyway, another thing that I am kind of proud of myself for is that I have started to get organized for 2019. I've got a new agenda and I've used lots of different stickers and things for the different KALs and everything else that I wanted to try to do throughout the year. Mostly it's going to be for my crafting stuff. So it should be pretty fun. It's actually the earliest that I've ever done this, so I pretty much think that I'm killing it right now, right? All right, and I did have a few things come in the mail actually over the past about a couple weeks, maybe. Not even. The first thing that came in was our monthly Wink shipment. In the shipment, we had a 2017 Matchel Cabernet Sauvignon. There was also a 2017 Cocamera Rosé. There's also a Finchke's Sparkling White Blend, which is absolutely amazing, and I actually ended up sharing it with my family on Thanksgiving, believe it or not. And the last thing that was in that box was a 2017 #TBT White Blend. Throwback Thursday. Anyway, there was a shipment from Adore Knits, which is actually really new to me. They do very, very cute stitch markers. Alright, so you want to know what's in the shipment, right? Well, I got this set of Halloween stitch markers. Absolutely had to have them as soon as I saw them. There was also this Doctor Who stitch marker set, which has, guys, catch this, it's 3D! It's 3D! Yes! Let's see, I also got a winter stitch marker set, as well as a llama progress keeper. And for ordering during one of their sales, I did get this cute little polar bear progress keeper. Isn't he super adorable? Can you tell now why I had to do it? I saw that on her Instagram and I was like, okay, must have. Okay, and the final thing that came in the mail was actually a complete surprise to me. I did not expect this at all. I ended up getting this surprise box from the Wine and Crime ladies. I was like, what? I saw that on the front doorstep. I'm like, I didn't order anything from them. But that's okay. I ended up getting a fucking patriarchy wine glass, which is absolutely awesome. And I always want more, right? There was also a coloring sheet with this wonderful cat on it. Oh, I absolutely love it. Oh, you guys, what do you think? All right, let's move on to FOs. Yes, I actually managed to finish a few things this month, which is absolutely amazing. First thing that I finished was the November DVD socks. This is for the Desert Vista Dye Works yearly sock cal that I'm doing. I did finish November, hence the title. The pattern I used on this one was Vanilla is the New Black by Vanessa Fletcher. New pattern to me. Absolutely love it. I ended up using Desert Vista Dye Works Viso Base, the colorway Dia de los Muertos, which I love a combination of colors, you guys. And I used the size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars, most of the way down to the toes, which I ended up using 16-inch circulars because I didn't have enough stitches on the little 9-inch cable. You know how that goes, right? The second thing I finished was Back in Blue. This is actually my sweater for the Nanny Swimo 2018. I managed to finish this in 14 days, and this actually included 3 days where I just didn't knit a stitch on it at all. You can see by the progress of days, right? The pattern I used for this was the Millie by Nice and Knit. Their pattern, I love it. I did use the Nice and Knit fingering in the colorway Back Bay on a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter for the collar and sleeve ribbing, as well as a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter for the butt. And I used marbles circulars for the body of the sweater. The third thing I did manage to finish this month was what I called simply hat number 1. The pattern on this one was the ribbed watchman's cap by Shauna Koppel. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but that's the closest I can get. I did end up using 2 different colorways. The first was Elegant Yarns Kaleidoscope in the Ocean Breeze colorway, as well as Lion Brand's Vanna's Choice Silver Gray colorway. Oh, I love this combination, you guys. And I think my intended recipient will as well. I ended up using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 16-inch circulars on that one. Alright, so the next thing that I did finish is going to be a spoiler alert. There are a few people who are still finishing up this cal, but I did happen to finish the Halloween 2018 MCal, which is of the same pattern name by J.L. Fleckenstein of the Lucky Violet Yarn Company. I did use 2 different colorways on this one. The first one was the Llamacorn colorway by Pandia's Jewels on her Snug base, as well as Leading Men Fiber Art Diva base in the London Frog colorway. Oh, I love the way these 2 came out, you guys. I ended up using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 on the Smart Sticks from Jimmy Beans, which I absolutely love these needles, you guys. The 5th thing that I did finish this month was what I called Pattern All the Things. I literally finished 1 sock in about a week, if that. The pattern is the GPKP 2016 pattern by CC Elman. I ended up using Regia, Arnie, and Carlos in the 10 colorway. And I also have the Ari size 1.5, 2.5 millimeter 16-inch circulars that I used on that one as well. Alright, so the 6th thing that I did finish this month was what I called Hot Damn! Tune It Up! This is the Fine Tune pattern by Hohe Locatelli. This was the last thing that I had to finish for the Hohe Long. I did manage to finish it with maybe 12 hours to spare, which is, it's fine. I ended up using 4 different colorways, so bear with me. I ended up using a colorway from Wool & Boone called Copper Boom. I also used 2 colorways from Hooker's Corner, fingering weight. One called Honey Bear and one called Hot Damn. And those 2 actually were the main colors. I'm sorry. And the 3rd colorway is Whimsy Stitches, their standard sock in the Autumn Forest Walk colorway. For this cowl, because it is a cowl, I ended up using a size US 4, 3.5 millimeter on 24-inch marble circs. Oh, I love how this came out, you guys. I can't wait to wear it out and about. And finally, the last thing that I did manage to finish a little bit of this month was what I am calling simply 2018's washcloth. I ended up getting 4 done, and then there's 1 on the needles. As a gentle reminder, the pattern that I'm using on this one is Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth by Ruth Slate. I am and have been all year using miscellaneous cotton yarn that I've had and that I've accumulated throughout the years, a lot that does not have labels. I am so sorry. But you can see them all on my project page. I'm hoping to get a total of 52 done this year. I am still 2 behind, but that's okay. I'll get there. And all year long, I have been using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 24-inch marble circs on those as well. So you guys, I have a hoe, or a half object. I called this project simply Point Me in the Right Direction. I am using CC's Vanilla Cappuccino Socks, like I said, by CC Almond. I am using Gail's Art Sparkle Single Sock Blank in her Poinsettia colorway. Oh, I love it. This was actually last year's Christmas cast on, so I figure I should probably finish it before this year's, right? I had been using a size 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter, 16-inch circulars for the heels, toes, and cuffs, and 9-inch circulars for the rest of the sock. All right, and now let's move on to what I have been working on, because I have put a few stitches on a lot of things. Most notably, I do have a few new things. The first of which is what I am calling my Scrappy Lap Blanket. This is the Granny Stripes pattern by Lucy of Attic 24. I absolutely love this pattern, so I'm going to keep using it as long as I can. I am going to be using miscellaneous Red Heart Comfort Sport, as many scraps as I possibly can, including a few things that I have taken out of blankets recently. I'll explain that more later. The first one that I did put in was what they call simply Apple Purple Jade Print, and the second colorway that I just put in is called Turquoise. I love this color combination so far, you guys. I'm planning on making color block stripes of as many colors as I possibly can. And yeah, but I am using a size I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. Oh, I do love the way that this is coming out, you guys. I have this currently housed in the pink bag that I bought when I was first started knitting, actually from Walmart, believe it or not. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I'll move it to a bit better. Probably move that as soon as I possibly can to another bag. But anyway, alrighty. So another project that I did start since the last time we talked is what I am calling simply December DVD socks. I am again using the Vanilla is the New Black pattern by Vanessa Fletcher. I love the way that these are knitting up so far. I am actually just past the first socks heel. I can't believe how fast these socks are going. It's only the 3rd of the month, y'all. But yeah, so the colorway that I'm using of the Desert Vista Dyeworks Viso is the Bing and the Andrew Sisters colorway. I love the stripy sequence of this, and I can't even. I am actually using a size US 1, which is a 2.5 millimeter 9-inch circulars on this one. And the bag that I'm using this month is my Grinch bag. I love this Grinch bag that I got. Oh, unbelievably awesome. And this is actually by the Knitted Broomsticks, so you guys know. So the third thing that I did cast on since the last time we talked is simply what I am calling hat number 2 for a surprise recipient. I won't say who. I did end up getting about 6 inches of the hat, so that means I need roughly about 2.5 more inches at least before I can go ahead and do the crown decreases, which I'm excited for, let me tell you. I am also using the Ribbed Watchman's hat by Shauna Koppel. And then with this one, I'm using 2 different colorways of Line Brand Vanna's Choice in both the silver gray colorway and the mint colorway. If you're wondering, the yarn is actually leftovers from a blanket that I made for somebody that I used to work with when they had a baby. But anyway, for this project, I am using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 16-inch marble circs. And this is actually being housed directly in my Haunted Mansion bag by the Knitted Broomstick as well. I'm telling you, another one of my favorite bags. Alright, and so what I have been working on a little bit, if not a lot, actually, since the last time we talked, I did put a little bit of work on the Ice Cream Social 2018 KAL by J.L. Fleckenstein. I got about half a pattern rotation done. I think I have at least one more to go before I am ready for, which is Clue 3, the bind off, essentially. For this particular shawl, I've gotten to the 3rd colorway. I absolutely love all four colors that I've used so far. The first one that went in this shawl was Queen City Yarn Noda Sock in the Slumber Party colorway. Then went the Supernatural Yarn Siren Sock Frozen colorway. The third one was Leading Men Fiber Arts Diva in their Deep Sea colorway. And the fourth one, which I literally just started fading in, is from No Makers on their House Gnome base in the Dobby colorway. Dobby colorway. And for this one, I have been using US 6 4.0 Jimmy Bean Circs. Again, I really like these needles, you guys. So the next thing that did get a little bit of love is what I am calling Everything's Just Peachy, with a smiley face at the end, because that's how I do. I do believe I have about another 4 inches before I start the bottom ribbing on the body of this sweater. I love how it's coming out, and I can't wait to get back to it, you guys. I put at least a couple inches in there. I don't know exactly how much, because I have been counting by rows as opposed to the inches wise, because I did, I'm crazy like that and did some calculation. But anyway, you want to know the pattern, right? This is The Anemone by Vera Valimaki. I have been using Leading Men Fiber Arts Showcase, which is 100% merino wool, in their Just Peachy colorway. I love how this is turning out. I am I'd say about 20 grams from finishing the second ball of yarn, so woohoo! That reminds me I have to wind up the third ball of yarn. Remind me, alright? Anyway, I have been using a size US 4, which is 3.5 millimeter, and a size US 6 for the body of the sweater, which is a 4.0 millimeter as well. The next thing that has gotten a fair amount of love is what I am calling simply Scraptastic DVD. This is the 10 stitch blanket by Frankie Brown. I have been, since the last time we talked, I did put in an entire colorway and started a second. The first one that I completely finished was from January of this year. I did the 7-year itch colorway on DVD's Viso base. And then the second one was also on the Viso base, called Somebody Loves the Knit Girls. That's going to be the second colorway. I did end up getting through the first corner with that, and I'm kind of going on a straightaway. Now for this blanket, I have been using a size US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter carbon straight needles, and DPNs for the corners, because, yeah. It is a blanket that I have, instead of 10 stitches, I have 21, which is fine. It makes better sense for me. The next thing that did get a little bit of progress on since the last time we talked is what I am calling The Doctor is the Answer. Now, this was the Police Box KAL from 2017 that I entered. This pattern was from Monica Evans. Went through the Jimmy Bean's website, I believe. Yes, that's correct. I have been using Lorna's Laces Shepherd Sock on the bigger on the inside as the main colorway. And there's also the String Quintet March 2017 Police Box colorway as well. I love the combination, you guys. And I have been using a size US 3, which is a 3.25 needles. And I have been using a size US 3, which is 3.25 millimeter. Yes. I'm getting there. I'm getting to the bottom section. The reason that this last section is taking so long is it's got some bobbles, and then I decided on top of it to do half bobbles and then half beads, which means I have to string the beads, which isn't really my favorite technique, but I think it kind of looks nice, and I love the way it's coming out. And I think that once I figured out a rhythm and when I'm working on it, it goes a little bit faster than, you would think. The fifth thing that did get a fair amount of love as well this time around was what I'm calling Simply Aware. I am finally to the last stripe of this shawl. I was actually kind of hoping to have it done by today, but my hands are really starting to hurt the last time I knit on it, mostly because I am using 3 different colorways of Premier Yarns Cotton Fairy yarn, which is heavy on the cotton, and with the size 2 needles that I'm using, the combination just makes my hands hurt, so I have to stop. But anyway, the pattern I have been using is the Lala Simple Shawl pattern by Laura Lenneman, aka Lala of the Knit Girls. I love this pattern. I've done it a few times, suffice to say. The colors that I'm using for the Premier yarns, I'm using Baby Pink, Bright Peach, and then Cotton Candy. I love the way this is coming out, you guys. The last thing that did get a little bit of love is what I am simply calling a Stripy Heart. This is the Granny Stripes pattern by Lucy of Attic 24. And I am using a lot of miscellaneous scraps from Red Heart. They're Super Saber base, mostly because it goes fast. But on this one I am using a size K hook, which is actually 6.5 millimeters. I love the combination of these colors and the scraps, and I know my recipient will love it. All right, let's move on to Silver's Unraveling Fast. Yes, this month has been a bit of a I need to rip back on a few projects kind of month, I guess. I decided to rip out completely the pattern A Jeweled Malt and also Teal Baby Blanket. Those two projects are now in the frogged bin. I am using both of those yarns in a project I actually cast on that I mentioned earlier, which is fine. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in this category is when I was working on the Fine Tune Cowl pattern, there was a section where I completely missed one line and ended up having to rip back 2 sections later once I realized it. I was so mad at myself. It took me about 2 days before I finally went back to it and said, okay, I will conquer your issues. But, you know, it happens, right? You know, you miss one direction sometimes and it just messes it up. But I did end up fixing it and finishing it, so that's always a start, right? Alrighty, let's move on to X's and O's. I did a few FO posts on my blog this time around, which is dreamysilver2112.com. I also did a fair amount of writing on my books as well. It's actually kind of a small victory on the book front, mostly as I've been working on the same book series for about 10 years now. And yes, I had to check to make sure that this was a 10-year thing. Whoops. Honestly, I keep coming up with writer's block on the whole thing. I don't know why a lot of the time, but I am hoping to finish up the first book soon based on what I've written in the past month, though. Then I think I can add more to the overarching story I've been writing in that time. You see, back when I first started writing this book, I had the genius idea to write up one long story that is told by 9 different female and 9 different male characters' point of view. It was insane. It's basically the real reason why everything's being held up, I'm thinking. I mean, maybe I was a bit crazy and kind of broke off more than I can chew. We'll see, right? Wish me luck on that front. Radio GaGa. I have mostly been listening to a lot of podcasts. Let's start off with, let's see, MPI had a new podcast episode. I have been listening to And That's Why We Drink, Harry Potter and the Sacred Text, Wine and Crime. I've been listening to The Knitmore Girls, My Favorite Murder, and also this month I did find 3 new podcasts that are new to me. One called Blackwood, that is completely done with, and a new one called American Hysteria. They came out with a new episode, so I have to watch that tonight, or listen to that tonight. And the next thing that I did find was called The Angel of Vine. This is basically a mockumentary, I guess, with different actors and actresses playing different parts. It's amazing. They've had 3 episodes so far, and both MPI and I are hooked. Silver's book pile. Let's just put it this way. I have finished quite a few books since the last time we talked. So I have finished 12 Sharp, Lean Mean 13, Fearless 14, Finger Licking 15, Plum 11, all by Janet Vakovich. I've also finished Burn For Me, White Heart, Wildfire, and Diamond Fire by Alona Andrews. Because, yes, Love those books. I've also read Boy Meets Boy by David Leviathan, also Just Friends by Marie Cole, An Indecent Proposition by Stephanie Julian, Meant to Be by Melody Grace, and then I found a new series by Sam Burns. In that series I have so far read Blackbird in the Reeds, Wolf and the Holly, Fox and Birch, Hawk in the Rowan, and then Succubus in the City, and then the last one I finished yesterday was Stag and the Ash. Just so you know, I've read a majority of that in the past week, maybe week and a half. But yeah, so I am on to the sixth book that's out now, called Adder and Willow, also by Sam Burns. I also am currently reading, in the middle of Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty. And I have also been reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast. That's quite a bit. What do you think? I'm amazed at myself, let me tell you. Alright, so Silver and the Case of the Screen Time. Again, I've been doing a lot of watching as well. I have been watching a lot of TV, most notably Charmed, the classic Charmed. I've also been watching Outlander, the new season of Doctor Who, some Supernatural. I'm about midway through season 5. I've also watched all of the rest of Storm of Suspicion. They had their finale last week, so I kind of missed it last night. I was like, Anyway, I've also been starting to binge watch 24 again because it was one of my favorite shows a while back, and it's been a while since I actually watched it. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's see. I watched a bunch of movies too. I watched a favorite of mine called Pop Rocks, which was an ABC Family movie. I have found it on YouTube in case you want to see it for yourself. I've watched National Treasure. I've watched Pixels. Let's see, The King and I, another favorite of mine. Rock of Ages, Moana, Step Up 2, and another rom-com that I really like, Kate and Leopold. The last thing that I did watch, movie-wise, was the new Christopher Robin movie. Oh my gosh. It was bawling. It was like the best movie I think I've seen in a long time. Like, besides my favorites. But, oh, unbelievable. Let's see. On YouTube, I also have been watching a lot of Men Try videos. I don't know why. A lot of Supernatural parody to reactions as usual. There are a few good ones. Let's see. Also, this month I have been watching a lot of my usual podcasts. If you go to www.silverdreamlandpodcast.com, you'll see a full list of those that I watch on a weekly basis. There wasn't one that I wanted to highlight directly. So there are a lot of podcasters out there that are doing what is called Vlogmas, which is basically you record an episode a day up until Christmas. I've been watching a lot of those videos. What can I say? I'm hooked. The more you know. Okay, it's time for a KAL breakdown. The first one that I would like to talk to you about is the Knit To Zero KAL. This actually started on January 1st and ends on December 31st. I do ask that you use hashtag K20 and SDLK2Z on Instagram and everywhere else you would like to. The rules are simple of this one. You must be a member of my Ravelry group. Your projects must use at least 10 grams of yarn. Your individual socks do count unless you finish the pair. Then in that case, only one pair will only count once, just so you know. Any project that you finish in 2018 will count, even if it is not a Ravelry craft, such as scrapbooking, latch hooking, quilting, sewing, needlepoint, and holiday baking. Let's be honest, all of those will count. But I do ask that you use before and after photos so that I can go ahead and see your progress, because I'm just plain old nosy like that. And so you know, poly dipping is allowed and even encouraged. Just so you know, I'm going to be locking the thread for this one probably just after midnight on the 1st of January, so you know, and that is Eastern Standard Time, so that way you're not surprised. Depends if I really want to do it right before I go to bed or want to get up, I don't even know. So just make sure you get your FOs in. The prizes for this one, I am going to be giving out 12 individual $10 or under patterns of the winner's choice. There will also be a chance of winning an individual pattern by Java Pearl Designs per quarter. So one per quarter, the total of 4. There will also be a set of cupcake stitch markers by Ann Tudor. There will also be a set of sheep stitch markers, also by Ann Tudor. The Knitted Broomstick actually donated a wonderful Outlander bag, as well as this awesome teapot bag. Oh, I love those 2 bags, you guys. I wish I can keep them for myself, but I'm going to be selfless. And let's see. There was an awesome bag that was donated by Molly Klein Designs, as well as a set of her wonderful pizza stitch markers. I think you guys will love these. Let's see. Oh, and also, just so you know, there is a wonderful grand prize. In this grand prize package, you're going to be getting a sock-sized tote of your choice, either from Slip Stitch Studios, Molly Klein Designs, or the Knitted Broomstick. You'll also be getting your choice of a stitch marker set either from Molly Klein Designs, Ann Tudor, or Wee Ones, all on Etsy. And in this, you will actually also be getting a $50 gift card from Miss Babs. Oh my god, you guys. And just so you know, prizes will actually be drawn once a quarter, so once every 3 months. So just make sure you post your FOs. And so we had a few people actually enter FOs for November. So congratulations must go to I Now Hour, Elle McCall, Rue CMC, Try Linda, and Mo's Crochet. Congratulations, you guys. Oh, I loved looking at every single one of them. I cannot wait to see what you guys do for December. Alrighty, so the second KAL that I'm going to talk to you about is the Great Podcaster Craft Together 2019. Just so you know, this is actually going to be a new KAL that I'm going to be help hosting in 2019. The Craft Together does start January 1st, 2019 and will end on December 31st. Now, if you are a podcaster and would like to host an FO thread on your Ravelry board as well, that's fine. Chatter threads are even better. That way people can kind of chat between the two. There's going to be a way of poly dipping, so don't worry about that. Just so you know, if you are a podcaster, giving out prizes in your group is up to your personal preference, but we will do all the prizes directly in the Along Ravelry group as well. I'll link to that down below. If you are officially participating in the Along as a podcaster, please PM me directly, SilverLuna2112. I will add you to the list of the podcasts that are joining and participating. This will get you your podcast banner on a separate page, as well as being able to edit things on the boards as you see fit, just in case I'm not around, whatever. Basically, and so if you are not a podcaster and you do listen to podcasts at all, please feel free to join in and spread the word for this KAL. I do ask that you use hashtag the Great Podcaster K2TOG on Instagram and everywhere. Now, simply the rules on this one: you must be a member of the KAL Ravelry group, which I said I will link down below in the comments and on the show notes as well. Your projects must use at least 10 yards of yarn. Now, individual socks do count unless you do finish the pair. In this point, then only one pair will count once. Alright, so you just update that one first post with the first sock. Now, any project that you finish in 2019 will count. If it is not a Ravelry craft, i.e. scrapbooking, latch hooking, quilting, sewing, needlepoint, and holiday baking, all that will count, but I do ask that you go ahead and include a before and after photo so that everyone can see your progress. Poly dipping, as I mentioned, is allowed and even encouraged. Now, the rule in the case of scrappy blankets, we will be counting those as FOs, as in the individual parts as well, because I know those are projects that are meant to go on for, months, years, whatever. So, 1 stripe or 3 squares will count as an FO in this context. Because quite frankly, who isn't working on the scrappy blanket? Or 2 or 3 in my case. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Now, there's going to be a few prizes that are coming our way that I haven't included yet. However, those that are in my possession, are I'm going to list them off below, but just note, if you'd like to go ahead and add something to the prize pool, please PM me directly. I am Saraluna2112. Alright, so you want to know what's already in the prize pool, right? The first one, there are going to be 12 $10 or under patterns on Ravelry. So I'm going to give them away per quarter, so you know. So there's going to be 4 total copies of my pattern that I wrote called Proud to Be Me, 1 per quarter. There's also going to be a free pattern from Java Pearl Designs that will be given away per month, so 12 total. There's also going to be a set of stitch markers that will be donated by Colson 111322. There's also going to be 3 skeins of yarn donated by Nice and Knit. The first of which is the Sand Dollar colorway on their fingering yarn base. This is 490 yards of 100% superwash merino. And then there's also a colorway that I'm thinking is called Deep Blue Sea. That's as close to the pictures as possible, because there's no label on the yarn, I'm sorry. And then the third skein of yarn is on their sock weight yarn base, which is 463 yards of 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. Again, there was no name on the label, but I believe it's called Mayflowers. I love this colorway. I wish I can keep it, but I'm going to give it to y'all. Oh, you guys, and new this month, we have a new prize. Actually, a new couple of prizes. Both of these donated by Adore Knit. It was Adore Knit on Ravelry. There is going to be a Llama Progress Keeper. I love this little marker, you guys. And the next thing that came in, and the next thing that was going to be donated was the Winter Stitch Marker set. I love these, you guys. Oh, so jealous of the winner on this one. And so you know there's also going to be a grand prize given away as well at the end of the year. Anyone wanting to add to the grand prize pool, please PM me directly. This is actually going to be announced in March of 2019. Alright, so another announcement that I do have is I'm actually planning on doing a live feed or a live Q&A for the Craft Together. I'm going to host this on December 29th at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. It might be a little bit later depending on people's preference, mostly so we can get those in Europe listening if they want to, as well as the East Coast, or the West Coast rather. So if you do have any questions for me with regards to the KAL, I can answer them live, or you can even write them into the thread that I've opened on the Ravelry group board. I'm hoping you'll join me. Okay. With all that being said, I'm going to move on to a different section that I don't have very often on my Real Talk segment. It's up to you if you want to skip to the next segment. I'll go ahead and put timestamps below so that way you can skip if you would like to. But yeah, alright everyone, I know this is not everyone's favorite segment, but it's that time of year where I kind of give you some real talk / mental health updates. For those that are new to the podcast or have never heard me talk about this, I actually have social anxiety issues as well as seasonal depression. My anxieties cause me to have full-on panic attacks that pretty much leave me extremely tired, a lot of muscle issues afterward, and just headaches for days. They do come on very quickly and sometimes without warning. A lot of the time, sometimes I can tell they're coming, but a lot of the time, no. Honestly, sometimes just the thought of being in a social situation set me off into one. But yeah, anyway, I sometimes call my anxiety introvert-ish syndrome. Like, I love hanging out with my family, but I need like 2 weeks to deal with it. Like 1 week to prepare for the visit and at least a week afterwards and not be social and just be by myself. I'm going to show off a bit of my geeky side here and say that visits with my family are almost like Slughorn's time turner. If the visits are good, the time goes by slower and I actually will delay leaving. If not, I do tend to want to bounce and leave earlier than normal. I'm going to tell you, I love my family, but I want to say that some of the things that they bring up or that they talk about make me cringe. There are some times over the course of my conversations with them that I cannot believe that they're my family. I hesitate to say that I feel like I'm being verbally abused whenever I visit. And there are a lot of elements of that in our conversations, and I try to explain myself, and I feel like they're not listening. I'm not being listened to at all. I'm not being validated, and it's hard for me to bring up with them. It's really the reason why I don't have a great relationship with my parents nowadays. And if I'm being honest, I don't have a really good relationship with MTI's parents for that reason as well. I simply just refuse now to talk about anything real with them just for these reasons. I honestly wish this wasn't true, but there it is. All right, so you can see my Thanksgiving was kind of torture for me on my end, even though I loved getting together with everyone and playing games and all that good stuff. If they brought up any family drama, I honestly tended to drink a lot more of the Finkies wine that I brought. I just nodded a lot and I deflected, pretty much as any quote unquote good daughter would do. And yes, I am being completely sarcastic, and I did use air quotes. I dealt with this okay, or at least I thought I had. I thought I had actually up until this past weekend. This was actually the worst weekend that I've had in months. I had been riding the high of my SSK trip, going out there, being social with people I don't know over this past summer. I was riding that high is so long that I honestly thought that I would be fine for this year, and that I wouldn't be as anxious as I am and weird for this depression months. I honestly think that the fact that my seasonal depression came early this year, it just has not helped my social anxiety at all. To that point, I actually had 3 panic attacks over the course of this past weekend. Poor MTI can only do so much when I get like that. He honestly knows to stay away, and he gives me space to kind of just bring myself back from it, but I do still feel bad for him and kind of feel like a bad person because in that time and in that headspace, I don't validate his concerns at all, which I'm trying to work on. Don't get me wrong about that. Anyway, my social anxiety really is actually the reason that this podcast is actually an audio and picture format as opposed to being on the camera for a YouTube video. Yeah, but for some reason, I'm okay talking to you if my face isn't on the screen. I really don't know why this is, but I am working on that. Basically, my want to do a live video for you all to kick off the craft along is kind of a big deal for me. So I'm hoping you all come by and check everything out and ask me questions if you would like to, or you can just say hi, whatever. If you come by, I would appreciate it, even if you're not planning on participating in the along. And also, so you know, my seasonal depression is the reason why I only record once a month during the winter months. It does give me more time to knit and more time to bring myself back to being the silver that I know I can be for the rest of the year. Trust me, you don't want to see me during my darkest days. Hell, I don't even want MTI to see me like that, to be honest. Anyway, okay. Sorry to be a downer, but I really wanted to talk to you about all this. Thank you for listening, and I really do appreciate you giving me that time. Alright, we have come to the end of the road. I am pretty social. You can find me on our Ravelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland Podcast. On Ravelry, I am SilverLuna2112 there. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. On Instagram, I am at Silver's Treats. So you know, if you do need to contact me on Instagram, my direct messages do not work on my phone. I do apologize. It's a tech issue I'm trying to fix. Anyway, on Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. And so everyone knows I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, please feel free to email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. And always, anything that I do talk about can be found in the show notes at www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com. Okay, I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable. Please feel free to join in any discussion, or you can even start your own directly on the Silver's Dreamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise. So please stay tuned for episode 63 on January 7th. Until next time, happy crafting!